Alright, this is WHAP, Chapter 7, Lecture 3, Part 3 here. We'll finish this up. Religions of salvation in the classical Persian society. Persians themselves come from the Indo-European language group, and so they are heavily influenced by the Aryans of India that we've talked about. And so much of the early religion was the same as that of the Aryans. But during the classical era, however, there's this new movement that arises called Zoroastrianism. And it became very popular in Iran, and it was fairly popular in other parts of the Persian Empire as well, but especially there in Iran. This religion would influence your other religions of salvation, Jews, Christians, and Muslims. These are all religions of salvation, and they kind of all trace their roots back to Zoroastrianism. Now, Zoroastrianism itself came from a man named Zoroaster, who believed in a chief god named Ahura Mazda, and they were not strict monotheists. Even though they have a chief god, there were like 6 lesser gods that they believed in as well, but Ahura Mazda is by and far greater than the other gods in their pantheon. They believed that Earth was a battleground between good and evil, and basically you'd be judged by how well you fought that fight. You'd either go to heaven or demons would cast you into hell. So that should sound familiar to most of us with our religions. Now, starting with Darius the Great, Persian rulers actually associated themselves with Ahura Mazda. Before that, it's unknown how much they linked with Zoroastrianism, but with Darius on forward, there's definitely evidence that they believed in Ahura Mazda. It had its problems once Alexander brought his Greek culture and all the Greek gods with him to Persia, so it faced some battles there. But it would experience a revival in the last of the dynasties, the Sassanid dynasty, and it would become widely popular again. However, once Islam is coming into town, it's going to do away with Zoroastrianism, and basically the Zoroastrians will either become Muslims or they will migrate to India, where they become known as Parsis, basically the Indian word for Persians, if you will. The last little thing to really understand about Zoroastrianism is that it left its mark on the religions of salvation. The 3 major religions, Jews, Islam, Christianity, all heavily influenced by Zoroastrianism. So, let's finish this up. To what extent was the organization and reorganization of human societies between 600 BCE and 600 CE the result of internal and external pressures, including environmental challenges? Just some things to think about. When you're talking about internal pressures, we're talking about rebellions. The Seleucids are always under internal pressure from the Parthians, because these are seen as foreign rulers. External pressures. With the Achaemenids, Xerxes, the external pressure of the Greeks, and then Alexander himself coming in and smashing the Achaemenids. Environmental challenges is basically keeping together this massive empire, even though there are mountains and desert and all kinds of things that stand in the way, making trade happen over such huge regions. Think about the great roads that they created and the fact that they were wonderful horses. Okay, that's your chapter 7.